Everyone, I'm Linda Sheldon-Feld with the International Grief Institute, and this is Moments of Hope. Tonight, we have a very special lady joining us. Her daughter, Carrie Singer, was brutally murdered and found in a field in Virginia in 2004. And a couple of years ago, Sirens Media contacted the mom asking if they could do her daughter's murder case, air it on Discovery Channel's Killing Fields. And it was featured this last season, starting in January. And tonight, Carrie's mom, Patty Lord, joins us to share her side of the story of what that was like, having her daughter's cold case featured on national television. Welcome to the show, Patty.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. And I appreciate you joining us tonight. First off, you lost your daughter to a brutal murder on July 1st, 2004. And as if that's not horrible enough, it was never solved. What was that like back when it first happened?
Our lives were just drastically changed.
Yeah.
You just go through so many emotions, and just to lose someone to such a violent crime. You grieve for that person always, but not to have it solved has been hard, because now this person is still out there and they're capable of doing this to someone else. I don't want anyone else to go through what we've had to go through, but just learning that you lost your child to homicide is, there's nothing worse than going through that.
Nothing worse. So many unanswered questions. And so when you were contacted a couple of years ago on behalf of Killing Fields on Discovery Channel, did that give you renewed hope?
It did. I felt for sure that Carrie's case was going to be solved. I knew they had DNA. I knew by having her on the Killing Fields that Discovery would be able to give new hope for us as far as all the new technology. And unfortunately, that didn't happen, but not for the lack of the Sheriff's Department and the production crew working on her case. But we're grateful for all the latest technology that we got from them.
Right. And so when the show aired, they revealed that they had done DNA phenotyping and come up with a composite sketch of the likely murderer. What was that like when you saw the face of the person who likely killed Carrie?
It's just not real. At first you're looking at this composite of a person who they're saying murdered your child. And it just doesn't seem real. And then you get angry, and then just a flow of emotions come through. For days, I would go out places and look for that person. I mean, when I was out in public, I would watch people and I would look for that person that was in that composite. And I only did that for a few days. I knew I couldn't do that. That was not healthy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it just showed me that this person could be anywhere. It could be here in my hometown. It could be anywhere. This could happen to anybody. This person is out there, and they will probably do it again if they haven't already.
I would think it would be mother's instinct to be searching for that face in every person you came across.
Yeah, I want this person to be caught extremely. I've got feelings that, I just can't quit. I can never give up. I am Carrie's voice, and I will never quit. And I want her case solved, of course, but her case unfortunately has been exhausted, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. They do have some more leads that people have called in since the show, but we don't have anything yet.
Good.
But they still are working.
They were so hopeful with the show, and at the end of the show, because we watched it every week, and I knew you already by then, and it was we were praying for resolution for the person who took your daughter's life to finally face charges. And at the end, Travion had been arrested, this one gentleman, in the murder of his father, which had occurred within a few days of Carrie's murder.
Right.
And there was some hope that, that he might have been the person who committed both murders.
Right.
And that was kind of what they were working on. And so, when that didn't happen, when he was not charged with Carrie's murder, what went through your head?
I knew he was never going to be charged with Carrie's murder.
Oh.
I was told from the beginning of the two cases that he was never, that the two cases did not have any connection with each other.
Okay.
So I always knew that he was not the person. Unfortunately, that's not the way it was portrayed on the show. I'm not sure why. I know that the production company did want to have Carrie's case solved, of course. I know that. They worked extremely hard in the job that they did. But their number one priority is getting people to come back and watch the show week after week.
Right.
That's their priority. They have to add things to the show to, make it more interesting for the viewers. Unfortunately, I felt like Carrie was victimized once again. With her being deceased, she was victimized. I felt like my family and I were victimized. That we were never told of this, and so that was a very hard thing to accept.
So you go into the show with hope on your heart, and then like you knew that Travion, that there was never a connection there, but viewers were led to believe that the arrest for Carrie was imminent, and that likely Travion, who was charged with murdering his father, most likely also killed Carrie. And so they portrayed something that wasn't quite right to get viewers to come back. Is that, in your mind, they portrayed Carrie as a party girl. And so first, when you learned of that, what was that like as her mom? And then second, what was she like? Tell us about Carrie.
Well, first let me go back. When I first found that out through a friend, to watch the next episode early through the Discovery app, and I did. The first thing I did was protect my younger daughter, Jamie, because she was watching the show along with me every week. There had only been 2 episodes out. This was going to be the 3rd episode that Carrie was going to be portrayed this way.
Okay.
I talked to Jamie and told her that I just found that out, and I didn't want her to watch that episode until I can find out what's going on. And she never watched another episode after the second one. She's never watched it since. And it's it affected her tremendously.
And so you were able to
and she didn't watch it. She was just going by the little bit that I told her.
Okay.
She doesn't even have the complete vision of it.
So you were able to watch it ahead of time through the app on your device before it aired on TV. Is that right?
Right. You can watch after each episode. You can go to the Discovery app and you can watch the next episode early before it's televised the following week. I didn't know that until my friend contacted me, so that's how I found out about it. And
that they portrayed Carrie as this party girl.
Yeah, there was a little more than that. It was really not good. And we were just under the assumption that they were not connected. And then they portrayed her as it wasn't true of any of the things that they portrayed her as doing.
Wow.
None of it was true.
Wow.
So that's been extremely hard on my daughter. She's 25, and I'm still trying to recover from it emotionally.
Yeah, and like you said, you've been victimized all over again.
Exactly.
Because to some degree, when they portray her as a party girl, it's almost as if, she had some hand in falling victim to, this heinous act, right? As if somehow, she put herself in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so any mother, any father who would be watching their child be portrayed in this way for the purpose of television, we when we watched that episode, my heart broke. It was just terrible. And I'm thinking, that's not right. That's not Carrie. So tell us about Carrie. Who was she?
Carrie did. Unfortunately, Carrie had a drug addiction, and she was always trying to beat it. But when she was herself, Carrie was extremely smart, extremely funny. She had a wonderful sense of humor, always joking with other people. She loved life, and she loved her family, most importantly. She loved her family. And when she was suffering through her addiction, she didn't bring it around her family. We did not know where she was at times because she wouldn't come around us like that.
Yeah.
Being in that state of mind. But we feel like she went to Virginia to make a clean start. She tried so many times and failed every time. And I believe that this was her chance to try to get away from it.
Yeah.
And she was always trying to make us proud that she was doing this, but we were always proud of Carrie. No matter what, we loved her. She was our Carrie, no matter what.
Yeah.
But
addiction is a terrible, terrible disease. Terrible.
It really is. And it's an addiction that is very hard for people to fight. And they can't do it alone. They have to have help. And even getting help sometimes doesn't help.
Yeah.
We've tried to get her help so many times, but it never worked. And I feel horrible about that.
Yeah, it's hard to watch them suffer because they fight with everything they have. And right now, we don't have the medical intervention needed. And so it's hard watching them suffer.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is.
But bless her heart for trying to protect your family.
She always did that.
That shows her heart.
And she was always protective of Jamie. And always wanted Jamie. She always was proud of Jamie and always tried to set the right example for her. Jamie was a lot older before she knew of Carrie's drug addiction. She was able to hide that from her because she didn't come around us. And Jamie was young enough where the excuses that we gave to her, she was fine. She was fine with that. So they had a very close relationship, and so it's been extremely hard on Jamie as well. She's missed out on a lot of things that she could have done with her sister. Parent, we've all missed out. So.
Well, and again, to have Carrie victimized all over again, when you had hope that some good would come from this,
right?
So you're now a victim advocate with
yes.
a nonprofit organization called Project Cold Case in Florida.
Right.
What do you want other families, other parents affected by cold cases to know?
Don't lose hope. Always keep hope. There's always a chance that that your case could be resolved. There could be justice for your loved one. I've been staying in touch with the Sheriff's Department for July 1st. We're going to make 14 years. I've had a good rapport with them. And I believe staying in touch with them, I've never wanted them to forget Carrie. Mm-hmm. So I always stay in contact with them. They have been wonderful to me. I believe that's communication is very important for families, to keep a good relationship with the law enforcement and never lose hope.
Yeah. Hope is a big thing. It's what gets us out of bed. And, it is possible to restore hope. It is.
Yes.
And even if you don't believe it now, hang on to the idea that restoring hope is possible. So I see a few comments. I'm going to read you, see if we've got any questions in here. Oh, they're all so sweet. They're saying, bless you. I'm sending you prayers and lots of hugs, says Casey Joe Federer.
That's sweet.
Susan Sciolino says, God bless you, Patty. We understand. Darius Kosinski says, such a roller coaster. I can't imagine what you're going through. Prayers this case gets solved. Amen. And Diane McMinn, our dear friend, says, please ease the pain in this mama's face and in this mama's heart. Oh, she's so sweet. She's so sweet. So, you were working with law enforcement on the case. How did they treat you during the filming while the show was being filmed by Discovery Channel?
I've always had a good relationship with them. The lieutenant, the lead investigator.
Yep.
Randy Patrick.
I've got his name. Yeah.
Randy Patrick. He went into retirement and they brought him back. But and I've worked with him from day one. So I've had a good rapport with them. Okay. I know that the Sheriff's Department worked very hard trying to solve Carrie's case. This was a first for them to have a TV show come in and do this. It was a first for me. They had to continue doing their regular jobs or duties that they are everyday duties, and have the film crew come in and film them. They worked late into the evenings. It's very time consuming because my daughter and I went there to be interviewed and to do one little shot of filming something that you would think take 10 or 15 minutes would take an hour. It's very time consuming doing this, and the sheriff's investigators work long hours. So I know that there were times that the communication didn't get to me as far as things I maybe should have been told that I learned on social media instead. But also production crew, they didn't communicate with me on a lot of the stuff at all.
Oh my goodness.
So they were great. They were very kind to me, but communication for myself as the survivor and Carrie as the victim, it kind of, I fell through the cracks.
Okay.
So to speak. But I believe that a production company should have some type of an advocate where they can stay in touch with that victim's family at all times, answer their questions, be there for them, keep them updated, because there's nothing worse than finding out something through social media,
right,
or through the show that your loved one was portrayed in a way that wasn't true for ratings. They really need to have someone like that to be there for the victim and for the victim's family.
right. So did you feel that they sensationalized it for the purpose of ratings, for the purpose of viewers?
Yes. I'm grateful. I don't mean to sound ungrateful. I want this to be a learning experience. I want them to know that the survivor of these victims are dealing with a lot, going through everything from the beginning of the case until the end of the case, bringing all the memories back, and the heartache is extremely hard. Finding out something that should have been told that wasn't told, and learning things through social media is just not right.
Yeah, no, I agree. So if you could do it all over again, have Carrie's case on, TV, would you?
It's everything I've ever done, I've done for Carrie's case. That's why I did this, is for Carrie's case, hoping that we could get justice for her. I would, but it would have to be different. There would have to be some changes.
Okay.
So I just think it's very, very important that survivors are told up front and educated better about what's going on.
Yeah, because, at the end of filming, they get to go home, but you still have a daughter who's been murdered. So
Right.
It doesn't end for you.
No.
And it doesn't stop when the camera turns off.
No, it doesn't. It's
lifelong.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm still trying to recover emotionally from this. And my daughter is also. And I know it's hard for people to realize that.
Yeah, right. Well, what do you think has been the hardest aspect of having her case on Killing Fields? And did you expect that?
I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to see things that weren't true. I guess I was naive to that fact and didn't think about they need to make this interesting for the viewers, and because there was so much that I didn't know about, and it was all accurate information. It was just this one part, and then the communication is the only thing that I was really having issues with.
Okay.
So, but it's just been extremely hard. It took 20 months for all this to take place.
Okay.
Start to ending. So that was a long time.
Yeah.
You know, kind of had my life on hold, so to speak, and just dealing with that. So that
Were
I
you
could.
allowed to talk about it while the show was filming?
No, we weren't allowed to tell anybody.
Okay.
So no. So
how hard was that through your work as a victim advocate?
Well, my boss knew it because of our organization is who the production team went through.
Project Cold Case.
Production, yes. So my boss knew, he knew before me. And, but then I told a few close family members, and that was pretty much it. So it was hard because I was, and I was, can we share this now? No.
Right.
They didn't want it getting out to where their location was.
Okay.
Because if they were out interviewing suspects, they didn't want anyone coming in and doing, having interference in what they were doing.
Oh, interesting. So up there in the Isle of Wight?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a really hard question. But if you knew the killer was watching this right now on Facebook, what would you say?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I would say, please turn yourself in and do the right thing. Is what I would say, because Carrie didn't deserve this. No one deserves to be murdered.
And neither do you or your family deserve this.
No, we don't. No one deserves this. But in reality, the kind of person that would probably do something like this doesn't care. So they wouldn't listen to anything that I said, matter of fact, they had a suspect in one of the prisons in Virginia, and they thought that he knew something. He wasn't a suspect, but he led them to believe that he knew who killed Carrie. So they went and spoke to him several times, and he wouldn't cooperate. So I did an interview and had it. My boss videoed me doing an interview, pleading to this person, asking him to please let the sheriff's department know who the suspects were, and he would. He just,
wow.
Yeah, no conscience. He wanted them to do something for him, and he was in prison for murder. So
someone else's murder.
So there was nothing that they could do for him, nor would I want them to, because I wouldn't want him out early.
Right.
For another family to go to deal with that. That wouldn't be right. But so I know how somebody with this kind of taking someone's life, I don't really know how they think, but they wouldn't care what I would say. They think they have gotten away free and clear.
It's been said that healed people heal people. And it's also been said that hurt people hurt people. And so do you think that might be deep down inside that killer's heart, that given the right set of circumstances or the right time, you would reach him in that place in his heart? Or do you think that people who commit heinous acts are too far gone?
I think they're too far gone, because I don't think somebody could take someone's life and there are people that can be changed, but I'm not sure if someone who creates such a heinous crime could change their ways. I just don't know. I don't think so. But you know, there has been situations where people have changed. But
yeah, I guess, you know, you'd like to think that deep down in their heart there is some goodness in there. But I want to say something to the killer. If the killer, he or she, is watching this tonight, or anyone who's ever committed a heinous crime and not been held accountable for it, I pray that you would turn yourself in, because it creates a life sentence for the family who lives with a heinous crime, who's lost someone they love. It's a life sentence.
right.
And by turning yourself in, you can turn a wrong into a right.
Exactly.
And I
believe
pray
in that.
Yeah, so I ask anyone who's watching this who has done something like that, whether it be Carrie's killers, or anyone, every wrong can be turned into a right. So,
Right.
Patty, I've got one final question for you. How
Sure.
has your grief changed since 2004?
It has changed as far as it has gotten different,
Mm.
but and you learn to live with it, the difference of how you were, how things are now, and you anniversaries of their birthday, the angel anniversary, holidays, those are difficult, but you learn to do better with it, and you still have your difficult times, but and then you just have to go be by yourself sometimes and just have a good cry and get it out of your system and go on a little bit longer until you have to do it again.
Yeah, I call that hibernating, when we need to hibernate away from the rest of the world and to release those emotions. And I often think, you know, we have this idea, society has this idea that grief is something that is healed, and the pain will always be there, but our coping does get stronger with time and the support. And the heart can hold joy the same time as sorrow. And eventually we learn how to balance that sorrow by adding those moments of joy. So Patty, thank you so much for joining me tonight and sharing with our viewers, you know, your perspective as Carrie's mother, what it was like having her show aired, and with the hopes that the killer will be caught and charged. You know, I appreciate all that you do on behalf of people who are on the path behind you. You know, you have taken your pain and turned it into purpose, and you're a remarkable lady. Remarkable. There's many people who feel that way, not just me. So where can, if someone has a tip that they want to call in or share now that they've watched you and heard your side of the story, if they've got information that they want to share with law enforcement, who do they call?
They can always call their Crime Stoppers, but
Okay.
Isle of Wight is ISLEOWIGHT Sheriff's Department,
Okay.
and I don't have the number on the top of my head.
They can also contact you at Project Cold Case. Is that right?
Project Cold Case at our number is area code 525-8080.
And the website for Project Cold Case is projectcoldcase.org.
Exactly. All one word, Project Cold Case.
Okay. And Project Cold Case serves people all around the nation. Is that right? Okay.
Yes. Not just Florida.
Okay. You're a wonderful organization. You and the founder, Ryan Backman.
He's wonderful.
You on behalf of families who live with the aftermath of a crime that's unsolved. You guys are absolute heroes. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, Patty.
Thank you, Linda. I think highly of you. You're wonderful, and thanks for all the inspiration you give all of us.
That is entirely mutual, my friend.
Take care of yourself, and thank you so much.
Oh, you take care as well. Thanks so much, Patty.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.